Hello folks, this is Doug with Imagination Mechanical and Fabrication coming to you once again. Doing an update on my shop. Trying to get my shop established here. I want to kind of show you what I've been doing. I hadn't been on here for a while because my stepson had a bad four-wheeler accident, was in the, had to be life flighted to the hospital and was in bad shape. And he's just recently been able to come home, and so I wasn't able to get up here and do anything. So it's kind of, I've got some done since I come back, but not a lot. But I want to kind of show you what I have got done, and how much more I've got to get done to kind of get it in a situation where it's actually usable. So I want to kind of flip around here and let you see. There we go. You got to turn the camera off in order to switch it around. So, but anyway, I mean, this pretty much looks kind of like it did, but I have gone through some of this stuff and got it a little more organized. And some, like up here, this is all electronic stuff. There's chips in here, little pots and big capacitors, circuit boards, stuff like that, and of course all the hardware stuff that's here. This is still kind of like it was, but that's going to be one of my next projects, is get this cleared off and get something done with some of this stuff. This over here, still a lot of stuff piled there, but I have been going through it and kind of getting it put away into places. This still looks pretty much like it did, because I really, I have gotten some stuff out of here and put it where I want it, but not much. I mean, you can still see this is like it is. And the drill press, I've kind of done made up my mind. I don't really want it here. I'm going to put it somewhere else, and I'm either going to build me a stand or I'm going to use one of these tables that I got to put it on. But you can see here, I mean, this is a lot more open here than it was, and all those tables are gone down now. I got them stacked here, all the dishes and whatnots and all that stuff that's on our eBay store. I took and went inside and built a bunch of shelves and put that stuff in there. This is more wide open over here, got more room to put stuff now. And got just a little bit more of like that shelf over there with that stuff. I'm going to build some more shelves in there. I think I got enough room in there to build a few more, and see if I can't get most of that stuff in there too, and get it out of here, and then I can use that shelf for something. And these doors, and I got 2 pocket doors back there. I'd like to get rid of them. Somebody comes along, offers me $5 a piece for those doors, and the pocket doors $10 a piece or something, they can have them. And then I'm going to build a platform over here to get this level and all, and then that I can take this compressor and move it back and have it level. And by the way, it did have a bad check valve on it with the unloader. I had talked about it. Well, there's the check valve, and I got one coming. But it was in a really bad spot to get out. It was, down in here, down in that hole down in there, and not easy to get a wrench on or anything. So, but I got it out, and I got to fix that, and then I'm gonna, get what else I can get out of here and take down there. I got a truckload out there right now of stuff that I got out of here today, and I had a truckload of stuff that I unloaded today down there in this storage trailer we got. But you can see it's getting there, and I'm getting more room all the time. Another thing I want to show you is all of this steel and angle iron and stuff I got here, like this here. That's solid steel bar. And I got some axles. I mean, axles about 3 inches in diameter. You can kind of see the splines of it right there. I mean, that thing's like 5 feet long, and it's heavy duty steel, hardened steel. good stuff and some angle steel. Well, I knew about this junkyard over here called Kaufman's, and so I just went down there and asked him, "Hey man, you got any of this kind of stuff around?" He said, "Well, the really good stuff, angle iron and pipe and roll steel, bar steel and stuff like that. Yeah, we don't get a lot of it except for scrap, because obviously welding shops and stuff like that, they're not going to come off of that stuff. But sometimes people, get it, like where they tear an old building down or something and that stuff was in there and they just scrapped it." Well, he had a place there that was heavy steel, section where they had a bunch of that stuff. And so I went over there. I asked him if it was all right for me to check it out, and he told me, "Yeah, go over there," and they charged me 25 cents a pound for it. Also, just as a side note, I got these two truck discs, brake discs, and I'm going to make a bender with that. I'm going to make a tubing bender, bend whatever you want to bend, tubing or bar stock or whatever. I've got two of them, and so I just got to get a few more things to mount it. Some pipe, some heavy Schedule 40 or Schedule 80 pipe, and some flat stock. He had a couple of pieces of really nice. It would have made a really nice welding table, but it was like 1/2 inch thick or something like that, 3/4 inch thick, 4x6 or 4x8 sheet of steel, but he wouldn't come off of that. And I don't know how, even if I'd have got it loaded, I don't know how in the world I would have ever got it off of there to get it in here. Without a crane or a forklift or something, because it probably weighed 1,000 pounds. But I'd like to at least get like maybe a 4x6 foot piece, 1/2 inch thick or something like that, to make a nice welding table out of. And this bandsaw here, you can get blades to cut steel with it, but it needed new tires and a new dry belt, and which actually this one doesn't have a dry belt, but they sent a dry belt with it. But it's got the two tires that goes on the wheels in there. And so but you got to take and soak them in hot water and all that stuff. But anyway, I got them, and I'm going to get this thing going and make it into a metal cutting saw. It's probably, most people would have used it for cutting wood or something, but I noticed when I opened it up, it had a lot of plastic shavings in it. So somebody was cutting plastic with it. And so I looked up a blade, a 3/8 inch blade that was made for cutting metal with about 6 to 8 teeth per inch. So that's what I'm going to get for it, is get one of them. And I'm going to get them on there, clean it up real good, and start using it, for cutting metal. This metal saw here is going to be more for like cutting, long pieces of angle or pipe or something like that, and I've got a stand over there, and I don't know if it's going to be high enough for that, that you can raise up and down. I think it may be a little bit too high, but I'm going to make some kind of a stand that I can have it coming out. If I got a long piece, it can come out, and be supported, and then I can cut, pieces of angle iron and stuff like that. And then that over there I'll use for cutting smaller pieces and cutting more, with more finesse, angles and stuff like that. Which you can do angles on here. It's got the ability, for you to cut angles. It's slotted there at with a radius, so it can be done to cut 45s and stuff like that. And I'm just looking forward to getting to where I can actually do something with this stuff. And that's why, I'm trying to find reliable sources as cheap as possible for steel and metal, to kind of get started, so I don't spend a whole lot of money on that, but there's a point, if at some point I get a lathe and a mill, I'm going to have good material to machine. And so I know where a couple of those is. I looked online and found a couple of sources for that, and you can get stuff, you know, just in small pieces like a foot. You know, you got like about an 8-foot long, 3-inch piece of machine steel. You know, you can buy a foot of it or whatever just for what you need to do a job. And then I got to try to see about what I can do to get a lathe and a mill. I mean, I think those would really set me apart from some of the other shops around here. I mean, if I've got the ability to actually make parts, not just fabricate, you know, steel into, you know, like a bracket or some kind of an attachment or something. I mean, I'd like to really have the ability, you know, to cut gears, you know, make a shaft with threads on it and stuff like that. And of course, I'm going to have to learn how. I've never done any machining, but I figure, hey, you know, YouTube's full of people like Stefan Gottswinter and Ron Renzetti, a lot of really sharp people that are good machinists that I can learn from the basics, and then kind of just play with it and learn. And it's the same thing like with the plasma cutter. I mean, and the MIG welder. I mean, the arc welding, I know how to arc weld. I've done it. And I can also get a TIG welding attachment to go on that and do TIG welding with it too. But this is, you know, I'm really wanting to get to it, but you know, I got to get this stuff out of here, even if I have to, you know, buy like you know, one of those cargo containers or something, and put it out here to put it in you know, for right now. You know, if I can find one that's reasonable. I know they just had a bunch of them fall into down there at Long Beach in California. A bunch of them fell into the drink. Cargo ship run into the dock there or something, and they fell off the ship. But anyway, I'm digressing here. But you can see, I mean, I've made some progress. And up here, I did get that. I got all them boxes that the stuff came in and all that. I got them put up there. And got them organized, got them, you know, neat up there. And so it's not a lot of weights, just boxes. And then if I need to get a box to ship something in, I can just get on the ladder, get up there, grab the box I need, and then it's not taking up so much space. And then I got, like over here, I got a bunch of, you know, boxes that I just really don't need, like them over there. That's trash. You know, they got to go. That's one thing I got to do. I got a place around the side around here where there's a bunch of stuff around there that needs to go to the dump. So I got to get a guy that I hire once in a while to do some stuff, to come up here and load all that stuff in the truck and us take it to the dump, clean it up, and that can go too. And hopefully by then I'll be gone through some more of this stuff and got it weeded out. And I got an air conditioner laying over there. I'd like to get it up and check it out and make sure it's cooling and everything, and get rid of it, sell it. If not, scrap it, and, you know, maybe keep the pump and the motors off of it or something, and trash it and get it out of here. And sell these egg milk crates and stuff, get them out of here. I don't need them. I've got tons of them around here. But there you have it. I'm getting into short rows as far as getting the stuff out of here and making it to where I got the room. You know, but and consolidating stuff down. I still got to go through a lot of this stuff here and get a place for it. And I keep moving stuff around. You know what? I like it here. You know, no, I like it over here. It's going to be a lot of that until I really kind of get satisfied that I've got it where I want it, and that it's where it needs to be. You know, as far as like everything to do with welding and grinding and that kind of stuff, and then the electronics and electrical. You know, I'm divided between having the electrical and electronic stuff here or over there. You know, but I'm kind of thinking this is going to be an electronics bench right here, and electrical. And I'm gonna have a wire rack up here coming down with the wire on it right here, where I can just reach up there and pull it down. And I'm gonna take all these bins with the screws and nuts and bolts and stuff in them and put them over there, so that they're with the hardware kind of stuff. And then the ones with the electronics, you know, stuff like this, you know, with metal oxide varistors, triacs, CCDs, that kind of stuff in it over here. And just slowly, that's kind of what I'm doing, slowly trying to put everything that's under that category over here, everything under mechanical and grinding and drilling over here, unless I change where I want this at. And then I've got some stuff in my shopping cart, some pegboard clips that you can, ones that you can like hang screwdrivers in and pliers, and so I'm gonna have, you know, C-clamps and that kind of stuff placed over here for that. You know, all the stuff associated with the welding and fabricating over here. And I may take this set of bars out and put another piece of pegboard up here, and to have more over here where I can have, you know, some mechanical tools, you know, hand tools and stuff like that over here. And then maybe build a bench here, you know, and put that grinder over here. And you know, I like I say, it's a work in progress. You know, I'll revise it as I go, but I am making progress. So just wanted to kind of do an update. That's it for this time, and I'm going to sign off. I hope all you folks will have a blessed day, and I will see you the next time I get a chance to do this. Later.